First of all, Joao, could you like just give us a small introduction about yourself? Just like tell us a little bit about how you ended up at Metana and maybe stuff like your professional background and stuff like that. It's just who are you, man? Just let us know.
Sure. Yeah, for so myself, I've been a software engineer for around 5 years, 5 to 6 years now. Been working on the blockchain space since around 2022, summer 2022. Started as an open source contributor for Olympus DAO and eventually got my way into closed source projects on space, mainly API Vision. The desire to keep growing and learn new stuff and keep contributing to the space by like developing tools facilitate people adoption of blockchain is what drove me to this desire of getting a new job, getting a better job, and finding cooler stuff to work on.
That's good. So like, how did you kind of like end up at Metana? Like, were you like introduced to it? What kind of made you think like, oh, okay, you know what, this seems okay. This team seems like nice, or like, were you like, what made you jump the gun to actually join Metana?
I can speak on this. So basically, the project where I was currently at was like, it was at a downwards spiral from my analysis of the situation. And I decided that I wanted to improve my situation because of that. And I was trying it out by myself, like looking into the job market, but the situation on the job market, as we all know, is currently like not the best.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely not the best.
I attempted a couple of selection processes, got my foot in the door on a few of them, but missed on a couple of steps during these interviews. So I decided to, hey, let's take like a step backwards because sometimes you need to like take a step back before you can take two steps forward. And I was already aware of the existence of Metana because of the ads that we see on job placements websites. So yeah, I decided to read up on you guys and see what was up, see if it made sense for me. And mainly the job camp was what interested me the most, like the help that you guys provide on, hey, we guarantee that if you follow this program and these steps, you will land a job or you get a job. So hey, it's a win-win. I got some savings in my account. I'm going to learn something new in my toolkit. Worst case scenario, I get the money back and learn something new. Best case scenario, I improve my situation. So
exactly, man. So inspiring stuff, man. Inspiring stuff. So now let's kind of like get to how you kind of got into Consensys. Like, what was the process like? Where did you actually like find it, and how did you get into the process? How did you get through the hiring funnel, basically?
Yeah, so I actually found the open role on their website because they have a specific session for open roles that they have at the moment because I was already like taking an eye to it because I had already been on a Consensys recruitment process, but it didn't go so well. It was also for a position. Yeah. So I was already like, hey, no, but these guys, like, they really teased me, you know, like they left that little bug in my head where this is a place that I would like to work on. So I'm not going to.
Okay.
And I stayed aware of job placements that came through. And one popped up that made a lot of sense to me. How do you say this? I don't know how to say in proper English, but like it married with the profile that I had in regards to.
Oh, right. So it was like basically a perfect fit. And you were like,
yeah. I saw it as like, this is a perfect fit for what I'm good at, what I can best do, the work that I've done in the past. And I think I can really contribute to these guys on what they want. So that's when I applied for this second role, the one that I actually landed now. And yeah.
Awesome. So the interview process, how was that like?
It was a bit time consuming in the sense of like, I took a lot of time to properly prepare for it. And also quite extensive in the sense of like, you get the first HR introduction, then you get like a couple of technical interviews, then you get culture fit interviews. So like, you got to go through these hoops in the space of like, let's say 3 weeks to a month.
So like, could you tell me like how the interview process and the technical interviews and all of that kind of like correlate to the experience you had with the job camp and like any of the instructors, how it kind of correlated together?
So there was stuff that I was already aware that I was doing correctly. So I kept like building up on those and tips from stuff that I got on the job camp, such as like, put emphasis on structuring how you communicate the problems that you solve in the past, like through, let's say, the STAR methodology, for example. I was
Yeah,
doing
makes
it
sense.
partially in the past as you caught my attention to it,
Yeah.
but I started doing it more consciously and giving like everything. So this was the
Uh,
problem. We had to do this. Actions taken were those, and the results achieved are these. So I tried to
there
like,
you go. Yeah.
yeah, mechanize this type of answers, but still the important part here is you got to be conscious of doing this, but
Mm.
don't try to emulate something that you're not, like,
Exactly.
because
You
they
don't
can
want to
know
lie
that
to
as
them
well.
that you're like not something you're not. You have to always be who you are. But what's important and like what we at Job Camp want to teach developers is like, hey, this is like the truth of the world, right? So even if you are the greatest developer out, if you don't know how to put yourself out there, you don't know
Yeah,
how to communicate, either the harsh truth is you're not gonna get the best of luck when it comes to getting hired. So that's
exactly,
kind of like
exactly.
what
And
we
even at
try.
Consensys, they raise our awareness to this. Like they've stated that previously in the past, they've had candidates that are like very, very elite coders, but then they get to
Exactly.
the cultural fit interview and their
And
values
they
don't
just
add up, or their
exactly.
attitude seems like shifty. So they don't stick with those guys. They stick with the
Exactly.
guys that
So the
are
culture fit is something that we really focus in job camp because that's actually what makes or breaks someone getting hired. Because the thing is like you get all the skills from all the other boot camps that we have, right? But like skills alone, that's not just gonna cut it. So that'll pass you through the technical piece. Once you get your culture really good, that's where you can get started. So that's kind of what we want to focus. So awesome. So let's talk a little bit about like the boot camp that you're doing. Like, how are the modules maybe? How are the assignments, and how are you actually doing in the boot camp?
So the bootcamp, I think I'm currently like around module 8 on the Solidity bootcamp itself. I think the modules are very like properly structured. There's a lot of different sources of material, which I enjoy because like sometimes what works for person A doesn't work for another guy.
Yeah.
So there's different sources to fetch the same type of information from, which is good. I can focus on the ones that resonate the most with me. And yeah, the exercises themselves are like exciting and challenging.
So how challenging do you think they are? Like maybe if you could rate them from a scale of 1 to 10, how challenging do you think the stuff's going to be like?
I would say for me personally, I would rate it at around 6 level, just because
Nice.
I've had
Okay.
like previously production experience, like work.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's not something that's entirely new to me. But yeah, the more complex it gets, the more time you have to spend like researching on some type of
Yeah, exactly.
optimize
So
that.
like as the modules progress, it always keeps adding on to it and just keeps going.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
feel like the
Yeah, yeah. And
difficulty
I think
just
that's very well
goes a little bit
structured.
up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's a very good
that's
way
very
of
good.
like teaching and ramping up knowledge.
Yeah. And like we don't really only want to focus on like the theory side, right? So like theory alone is not gonna make you into a great developer. So like we want to always like be like, hey, this is focused on like the project that you're building, and that's kind of how we want to go ahead. And also like
Exactly.
could you tell a little bit about like the instructors who's been instructing you? How are they like? Have you interacted with them like a lot? And how's that?
Yes, yes, yes. I've interacted with both of them. I like the thing that like I think attitude wise they're very different people. Like one is more analytically focused on
Yes.
technical details of all of
Yeah.
it, and he's not like too personal about stuff. He goes like raw and into the subject. But that's good. That
Yes.
works very well for a lot.
Because for some students, that's what works, right? And like you had to have best of both worlds. So for people who like want to relate to the people who are teaching, then they can go with like David. And then if not, if you want a more like raw, fact focused, analytical fight, then you can just go through it, stream it, and all of that.
And I also think it's very good that they like cover different time zones, so to speak,
Yes,
because what
exactly.
can work for some people in terms of their schedule might not work for
Yeah.
others. They got like always these two
Exactly,
options.
because like our focus is basically to become a global university where it's like we have a lot of global students, so we want to cover as many time zones as possible. Still, we do have like issues where like, hey, this student is like doing the session low in the morning, but we are covering that so fast because we want to get more instructors down with different time zones and make it easy and seamless as possible.
Yeah, that seems definitely the move to do.
Awesome. So like in terms of recommending anyone like the job camp or if you feel like if anyone wants to get into Web3, how difficult do you think the transition would be for someone who wants to like transition from either Web2 or maybe something completely different from like something like sales, maybe who wants to transition to Web2 or Web3? How difficult do you think that journey would be?
I mean, if we talk about if you already got coding experience on your back, I don't think it's all that difficult. It only depends on like your own will to actually put in the work because you got to put in
Yeah.
the hours to learn this stuff, you know? So if you just come in here and think that, okay, I paid the fee, I'm doing the boot camp, so the stuff will go my way. It's not really like that. You got to be yourself willing to do the work,
Exactly.
put in the hours if you want to
Yeah,
actually.
just like
So the
exactly.
difficulty is only related to the actual work that you're willing to put in. That's
Exactly.
my
Because at the end of the day, it's like it's your job to actually go through the boot camp and then get the information into your head, right? Like all we can do is like give you all the help you need and like just teach you what you need to like learn. And that's what like we can do. But like I completely agree with what you said. Like it's definitely up to the student and up to the person. If like they have an education, 100% they can make the transition definitely. So we
yeah,
see
because
people
you
fast.
guys give the material for people to study on. You guys give the availability on like I've never had a problem booking any calls with any of you, be it on the coding parts. You guys make yourselves available. You guys give us the material. So it's up to the person actually doing the course to put in.
Yeah, exactly. So completely agree. Because like at this end of the day, we have to take responsibility for ourselves, right? We can't like push the responsibility onto our person. So yeah, understandable. Love the attitude, man. So yeah, final question. Would you like recommend the job camp or Metana to anyone? Like, would you think you'll be giving me the good recommendation? Yeah.
Like
Awesome.
I've already been on the process of like people that I talk to and people that I comment upon about my journey. I've talked about you guys. I've talked about the bootcamp. The pricing can be a bit steep for some people, and they might get like second thoughts if they should put in the effort. But I say, hey, it's definitely worth the money that I put in
Yeah.
because it's
Because
a
at the
lot
end
of
of the
help
day,
on the toolkit that you
exactly.
get for the money
Yeah.
that you.
And it's like a win-win situation, right? Like we said, we are definitely gonna guarantee that you get hired at the end of the process. Like you are gonna get the money back.
Yeah, exactly. If you follow the
That's it.
steps, like you will get hired.
Exactly.
If you
Yeah.
don't
Just
follow the stuff, of course, you're not gonna
that's
get
what
it.
you'll
But you gotta put
exactly.
in the work yourself.
Yeah.
As we.
It's like we both Metana and the student, they both have a responsibility, right? So we're responsible for giving the student everything they need in order to succeed. And the student is responsible to make use of all the things that they're gonna get and make sure they like nail the goal basically. So like, yeah, awesome. Dude, it was a nice conversation that I got to have with you, man. I'm super excited for the job that you got. So do keep in touch and you have access to the job camp throughout like your tele at Consensys, even after you get out of Consensys and you want any help with like getting out jobs and stuff. Do get in touch with us. We're definitely out to help you. So yeah, good luck in your future endeavors, man. Awesome talking to you and connecting with you.
All right, same here, Shane. Thank you guys for the availability and having this talk with me. And
No
whatever you guys
worries,
also
bro.
need, any information I can provide and any help in the future, I'll
Awesome,
be here
man.
for.
Thanks. We'll definitely be in touch because, like, at the same time, job camp is something that's always evolving. The more students who get hired and want to get their input, make the curriculum even better, make the mock interviews even better. It's always something that we want to get involved with. So
Nice, nice.
awesome,
That
man.
sounds good.
Thank you so much for taking the time. It was
All right,
awesome
no
talking.
worries, man.